All right, you guys. We back to talk about this Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion. So let's get into this. All right. All right, you guys. Before we get started, let me go ahead and share this out. Let everybody know we here. I know that T is live. Y'all know sometimes we all cover the same information, so sometimes we kind of overlap. And I know we share people, so it's whoever, it's whatever. Y'all know how I do. We're gonna talk to whoever here. So let's get into this reunion, honey. Let's get into this reunion. First of all, let me say hi to who's here. Shout out to the 21 people in the room. Please hit that like button when you come in. Thank you, Miss Diva. She told y'all what to do. Change the season number and the title. I thought I did. I changed it to season 5. It says season 5 on my DVR. Hold on. Because I had season 4, and then I changed it to season 5 because my DVR says season 5. Yeah, my DVR says season 5. But I mean, they keep changing it because anyway. This is part 1. I wrote part 2. Oh, I did write part 2. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'll change it. Hold on. I'll change it right now. While we're talking. You just getting back from your brother's house? Did you and your brother have a good time? We're gonna have a funky good time. Hey. We're gonna take you high. I don't know why I put part 2. Where did I get part 2 from? Anyway. All right, I just changed it to part 1. Did I put part 2 on the thumbnail? What does the thumbnail say? Because I have to change the thumbnail when I get off of here. Okay, the thumbnail says part 1. I don't know what I was doing, y'all. Anyway, thank you. Thank y'all. So let's get into. You said, but you love your. I don't like my siblings, but I love my in-laws. You know what, Jonathan? I'm not doing that. So let's get into these notes. I got a lot of them. So first of all, we know at the beginning of the reunions, Carlos King wants to be Andy Cohen so bad that he does the same thing that. I shouldn't have said that. That was shady. Whatever. Carlos shady. I don't care. So he does the same thing that Andy does. He has to go around to everybody's room and he has to, say hi. And the question he kept asking everybody is, what is your goal for today? Child, none of them had no goal. Their goal was to be shady. Some people's goal was to be shady. Other people's goal was to stay out the way. And I think other people's goal was, let me just keep my head down and wait for this shit to be over. Well, we'll get into this, okay? Couple of things I did notice in this intro part, right? The first thing I noticed was, is it me? Or did it seem like Melody and Carlos ain't as close as they used to be? Did y'all feel a little cold coming off of Mel when she was talking to Carlos backstage? That was her partner in crime. And in past reunions, they would be back there kikiing and laughing and all of that. And you saw where he was trying to kind of joke with her and she wasn't feeling it. And later on in the show, she actually throws him under the bus, but we'll get there. I said, okay, so maybe the rumors out there about Mel not being, cool with Carlos or feeling some kind of way about some things with Carlos, maybe it's some truth to that. But I definitely felt a brr. Okay, Mia says yes. Okay, y'all let me know if I'm listen. Y'all know the reason why I'm doing this live. Y'all let me know if I'm reading too deep into these things. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say was now Nicole Ray said that she did Melody's hair. Well, no. I thought she said she did Melody's hair for the reunion. Nicole Ray from Chasing LA. Now she may have said she just was at that she did somebody's hair at the reunion, but I didn't see her. I was trying to catch her, but I do think that Letitia's cover she had on while she was getting her hair done, I did see something that said Ray. So maybe her business did the hair, not her personally. But I don't know. But I was gonna give her a shout out if I could catch a glimpse of it, but I ain't catch a glimpse of it. So, but if you was there, girl, or your company was there, girl, shout out to you. Congratulations. Okay. The other thing we saw Martell made sure that he was on the phone with Sheree when Carlos came around because child, they was on the phone. They probably said we're gonna sit on this phone until Carlos come in here so that we can get on camera. And of course, they made a whole thing about it. Carlos talked to Sheree, and Sheree said very nice things about Martell. It was whatever, child. All right, so that's that. As far as the fashions, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, because I don't think she lied. I just think maybe I misunderstood what her role was, right? I thought maybe she was gonna be there doing Melody's hair or doing Letitia's hair, and I didn't see her. And again, she could have. That doesn't mean she wasn't there. I just didn't see her. But again, I don't think she lied. But I was just trying to see her so I could give her a shout out. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna watch the replay after you watch the show. Okay, Reboot. Thanks for being here, boo. Thank you. All right, it's 47 people. I hope we got 47 likes, child. The numbers are low. That means everybody can like the video. Everybody can like the video. Okay. All right. So as far as the fashions, y'all know I am not a fashionista. I don't really get into all the different fashions. I pretty much everybody was fine by me. Like nobody made me be like, oh my God, what was that? I did like Carlos's suit. It was very Carlos King, very shiny. It was black and silver, with a print. I did like it. I did like it. Um, Mel's post says her hairstylist was Kalisa. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Nicole said that again, it could be her company, maybe not her personally, but again, like I said, I don't think she lied. I just think maybe I misunderstood. When somebody say that, child, I already said that, child, whatever. Kimmy came out in her Elvira look, giving body. Okay. It was this black lace, see-through in all the right peekaboo spots, with all the other spots being covered up very strategically. I thought it was very sexy. I was here for it. Kimmy has always embraced her sexy. And I think even more so with everything that's going on with her battling breast cancer. I think she was, took an extra swig at protecting her, not protecting, but embracing her sexy. I was here for it. I thought it was beautiful. She gave us a blonde, like curly bob. I thought everybody's makeup looked nice. Sometimes the makeup can be overboard. Sometimes they don't have the complexions matched up. I thought everybody looked nice. I really did. I thought everybody looked nice out of the original six. Now, when we get to the other people, I might not feel that way, but Melody had that silver metallic glitter look. I liked the top. I did not like the bottom. I was here for the top. I thought the top was very futuristic, very robot, very, that bottom looked Party City. I did not like the bottom. I really wish the bottom had matched the top, but okay, whatever. Martell, I thought looked nice. Tisha and Tisha and Marceau, I thought looked nice. Tisha was giving body yaddy yaddy too, had that thigh out, that booty. Okay, so I thought everybody looked nice. Okay, cool. So that's the fashions. That's the fashions. Okay, that's the fashions. Now we started off easy. We talked about everybody's bit. Before I get into this too, let me say this. I feel like Mel, and listen, I know the Melometer's gonna come for me for this because all they're gonna hear is Mel. They're not gonna hear none of the rest of what I'm getting ready to say. All they're gonna hear is Mel. They're not gonna hear nothing else I'm getting ready to say out my mouth. But let me go ahead and say it because y'all know I don't care about none of these people being mad at me. I feel like Mel and Letitia came in there on some bullshit. I feel like Mel came in there on 20. I feel like Letitia came in there on 20. Both of them were throwing jabs from the word go. Mel was throwing jabs in the back when she was talking to Carlos. Letitia was throwing jabs when she was back in the back talking to Carlos. And I just felt like both of them showed up on some shit. I really feel like they did. They both were ready to fight and they both were ready to kind of go back and forth. I just feel like they were both on that. What's up, Mims? I am not Bully B. Don't do me like that. But that's my opinion. Okay. Y'all can disagree with me. Authentically Young says she agree. Y'all can disagree if y'all want to, but I just feel like both of them came in there on some bullshit. So the first package that we did, it should have been easy. It should have been an easy package, right? They were talking about the business ventures and they did a package, Mel and her 7th Avenue products. Marceau and Letitia with Expanding Black. Kimmy and Maurice becoming the first Black brokers in the state of Alabama. Like the first Black, I feel like that was a great thing that we saw. Martell and his damn wine. And the one thing I'm gonna say about this show, for all of the bullshit that happens with this show, and it has definitely become a more watered down, ratchet version of where we started. The one thing I will say is that outside of the bullshit, we do see Black excellence on this show. We see entrepreneurship. We see advanced education. Everybody on that show went to college, and at least, at minimum, has a bachelor's degree at minimum. And again, I'm not saying that college is for everybody. I'm just talking about this show right here. Right? We see most of them have master's degrees or some sort of advanced certification in something. We're talking about entrepreneurs. We're talking about people who had who have businesses, viable businesses. Because I think a lot of times when we look at these reality shows and we see them starting all these bullshit ass businesses, they don't go any further than the show, right? Once the show is over, the business is over. Hell, half of them don't even last that long. But we are seeing some viable businesses, except for Madani. But that's another conversation, child. Billy B had a street feat in Atlanta. What? She went to the car and pulled off some tens of Atlanta. Had a street what in Atlanta? I don't know what a street feet is. I don't know what that is, ma'am. I don't know if that's a typo or if that's some shit y'all say in Texas, because I don't know what a street feet is. What's up, Tracy? What's up, girl? So, but almost from the beginning, Mel was on some shit. Carlos was like, he was giving them their props. And everybody was like, yeah, we can agree that, we do some, we do some great thing. Everybody, I wrote in my notes, everybody's hustling, right? Oh, street fight. I was like, a street feat? Child. Anyway, I'm a lady. I don't do those kinds of things. I'm a lady. I'm going to be out in the streets fighting. Mel was like, whatever, I don't care. She was like, I really don't care what any of these people are doing. And I was like, wow, okay. First shot fired by Mel, at least what we saw, because, it would be edited. Melody went on to say that basically last season, she gave everybody their props. She was like, it wasn't aired, but I said it. And again, that was a dig at Carlos in production by saying it wasn't aired, but I said it. And she was like, I gave everybody their props, but basically this year, I don't care. I don't care what nobody else is doing. I don't care how anybody else's business is going. I just don't care. And I'm like, it's really time for them to either A, give Mel a spinoff show, or B, Mel, it's just time for you to leave the show. Because if you're not even willing to engage, I don't know why you're here. I don't understand why you're here. I just don't. And I'm not even trying. I don't know why you're here. You can't even say you're happy to see Black people hustling. She is just over it. And that's why I'm like, she needs to, because here's the thing. I'm not mad at her for being over it, because I think that I can understand why she's over it. But then you need to leave the show. If you're over it and you're no longer interested in playing the game, because that's what it is. It's a show and it's a game. Then go. Contracts, child, just go. I'm sure that I don't know her contract, so let me just leave it at that. I don't know her contract. But if you're forced to be there, I don't know. You just need to give me something. Because when you no longer are willing to engage, it's just not interesting it's just not interesting. I honestly think Mel is going to leave after the 100th episode because she has EP credit, and I think syndication will be a bigger payout. Reality shows don't really do syndication like that. I mean, we do streaming. They get on the streaming services. Like now with streaming, I mean, the show is already in, on demand, or you can go to the own app and watch it, or whatever own stream. So, I mean, I don't know. I definitely feel like whatever her reason for still being there has to deal with. I absolutely feel like it has to do with money, because she's over it. She's over it. But anyway, well, come to find out, so Maurice was like, well, I support everybody on the stage. And Mel was like, you don't. Like, you don't support. And so Carlos was like, well, what's let's figure this out. Like, what's going on? Well, come to find out, Mel was upset because an interview that Kimmy and Maurice did. Maurice made the comment that Mel and Kimmy aren't friends in real life. Like, they're not friends off the show. And Mel is offended by that, because she feels like that she's been there for Kimmy. And again, start talking about, Mel checking in on Kimmy, sending food, coming by to visit, especially what she's going through with the chemo. And Mel was like, yes, that's why I was. And Kimmy said, absolutely, Mel has been there. She absolutely has been there, and she's done all those things. And Mel was like, yeah, that's why I'm offended. That's why it upset me. And I felt like that wasn't Maurice's place to answer the question. That was Kimmy's question, because Kimmy would know. Maurice don't know everything that we got going on, or how we communicate and all of that, which I disagree with. I mean, that's her husband. I think he probably would know, but I think Maurice brought up a good point, and Kimmy brought up a good point and said, but you said the same thing. Mel, you said the same thing. You have been asked about your relationship with people on the show, and you said the same thing. Well, I'm not really friends with them in real life. I don't really deal with them like that. These aren't my friends in real life. Like, I've heard her say that. So you're mad that Maurice said the same thing you said. And Kimmy said, look, are these people my besties in real life? No. But but if I need something for Mel, is it there? Yes. Has Mel been there for me? Yes. Do I consider Mel a friend? Yes. So I didn't understand why Mel was. She has said that about everybody. Cameron, if you a mellow meter and you coming in here, this probably ain't the review you want to be in, because I feel like you just going to defend Mel, and I have beef. I have criticism for everybody. She has said that about everybody on the show. She absolutely has. She has absolutely said that she don't rock with, that she's not friends with these people in real life. She has said it. And again, I don't think that's a bad thing. Everybody ain't your best friend. Everybody's not your best friend, and it's okay to say, listen, we're friends. Because remember, that's what Kimmy went through with Letitia. Letitia was like, well, I thought I was getting a sister when you and Maurice got married, and you're just not the person, and you're not the relationship and blah 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 blah. Well, thank you, Cameron. And again, I don't mean to come off, but people, I ain't trying to be mean or nothing. I'm just letting you know that I'm gonna have, because trust me, I got notes, I got criticism for pretty much everybody except for Kimmy. I think Kimmy the only person I don't have no beef with tonight. Now I might have beef with her for the next one, but tonight I ain't got no beef with. But everybody else, I got some words for. Everybody else I got some words for. Let me move on. Yeah, she has said it plenty of times. Mel was actually mad at Kimmy at one point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mel, and again, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm cool with these people. I'm cool with these people because this is who I film with. But when the cameras aren't rolling, listen, let me tell y'all something. Most of these people ain't friends in real life. That's why a lot of times with these reality shows, and you'll be like, they had all off season, they had this conversation, or the show, they had all 6 months. They don't see each other. They don't hang out with each other. They not friends. That's why I pay attention to the pictures I see when they not filming. I pay attention to the Instagrams when they not filming. That's when you can see, oh, well, they really fuck with each other. Oh, they really are friends. And that's why the other day, what was I talking? And somebody was saying, we were talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac, and somebody was like, none of those girls like Monique. And I was like, that's not true. Monique hangs out in real life. Monique hangs out with Karen and with Ashley. She don't hang out with none of the rest of them, but in real life, she hangs out with Karen and Ashley, and they are friends in real life. Again, best friends? No. Be together all the time, hang out all the time? No. But if Monique has a function at her house, Karen and Ashley are always on the guest list. When Karen has events, Monique usually doesn't show up if they're going to be filming, but Monique is always invited. They go to each other's house, they spend time with each other. So they're friends in real life. But a lot of these shows, these people ain't friends in real life. They don't hang out with each other. They don't know each other. I don't think she feels that way about Kimmy Letitia. Hell yeah, she not friends. But I don't agree that Maurice knows all with Kimmy because she don't know all about him and his deception. Ain't nobody friends. Oh Lord. And these outside of filming there, what are they really doing? Since the divorce, everybody seems to have taken Martell's side, so Mel doesn't truly fit in anymore. I'm gonna come back to that one, Bossy Diva. Portia and Fallon were friends, and we saw how that went. They weren't friends, though. That's the point. They weren't. Portia and Fallon were not friends. They knew each other, but they were not friends. They were not friends. So Bossy Diva says, since the divorce, everyone seems to have taken Martell's side, so Mel doesn't fit in anymore. I disagree with that. I think Mel has pushed a lot of those people away. I disagree. I don't think they took Martell's side. Remember, Marcel and Martell was about to straight up fight. Like, they were physical. I disagree. I don't think they took, I think now they're friends with Martell more so than Melody, but Melody pushed a lot of them away. Melody, she pushed a lot of them away. Anyway, let's get on with the thing. Monique forgave Applehead for accusing her of a DUI accident, but chose to beat Candace up for less. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to the Real Housewives of Potomac season 5. I will not get on that train tonight. No, ma'am. Okay. Maurice, Maurice threw shade at Destiny. I feel like Carlos kind of threw shade at Destiny when he was like, I think the 6 of y'all have a good thing going, a good situation. And that's why it's only the 6 of y'all on this stage right now. Because he was saying about causing strife and being petty. I feel like that was a direct jab at Destiny, and from the previews for next week, I stand by that statement because I feel like Carlos don't really care for Destiny a lot. And once again, in my Carlos wants to be Andy Cohen situation, did you see how the kind of comments he made at Destiny and the things he said to Destiny? I felt like it was the exact same shit he said to Candace. He was like, people are tweeting at me saying that why are you on this show? You're not in a relationship and you're rude and that you should be fired. I'm like, isn't that the same thing Andy said not word for word, but in the general statement about Candace? I said, here he go. Anyway, Carlos should not only throw shade at Destiny, he should fire her. He doesn't care for Destiny because she don't bring that. She sure don't. I just want to say I appreciate you taking the time and spending your time with us New Year's Eve. Some people aren't super close with their family, or others we're virtual. Oh, no problem. Come on, I'm not. Thank you for the super chat, Mims. I am not riding that train tonight, child. You will not get me on the Real Housewives of Potomac season 5 train tonight. No, ma'am. Destiny makes it that no one likes her. She brings nothing to the show. Destiny, let me tell you something. Destiny is one of those people. You ever worked with somebody? Everybody, well, I can't say everybody. A lot of us have worked with people like Destiny. Destiny is one of those people that always has an attitude, always got a stank face, always got resting bitch face, and then don't understand why don't nobody like her. Then don't understand why the boss is why she always in HR. Destiny is the kind of person that always got a smart comment, is always anticipating the worst, and then don't understand why she don't get invited to happy hour. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Destiny and Tisha are friends off camera, but that happened after her and Mel stopped being friends. She ain't fuck with Tisha before. Y'all know that. Y'all know she ain't fuck with Tisha before, but after her and Mel stopped being friends, oh yeah, they together all the time. She always up in Black Child. They always together. Um, I wrote in my notes here that Mel is being sensitive. I feel like I've already addressed that, so I don't need to go deeper than that. So then they started talking about scope, and they started talking about how Letitia became majority owner of scope, and she said basically I bought Martell out when Martell wanted out of the business. I bought him out. Now I feel like, and this is where I feel like Letitia was being real extra. Is it me, or do y'all feel like Letitia was being real petty towards Martell in this moment? Oh well, I know he regrets selling. I mean, because when he left, we were in the negative, but now it's a multi-million-dollar company. Well, and we bought his shares for penny on a dollar. And I was just like, girl, like I just felt like she wasn't saying it. I didn't feel like she was saying it like, we made a great business decision. I felt like she was saying it like at Martell, like nan nanny nan 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 nanny nan, and I was like, you doing a lot. Like, I mean, again, there's a way that you can say things and not make it seem like you're jabbing at somebody else. And I feel like that whole night, Letitia was jabbing, 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 jabbing. You know, and like Martell said, he said, but that was the agreement. Like that was the goal. Because if you listen to what Mel explained about how Schultz got started, and I believe Mel. I believe what Mel said. Um, oh, thank you, Mims. Mwah, thank you, love. I believe what Mel said, that basically they were trying to help them get their business started. Mel made a lot of referrals to them, and they don't deny that. They do not deny that Mel and Martell helped them. Um, and I feel like Marceau threw a little jab in there too when he was like, "Yeah, I brought things to the table too, like a builder's license." you know, and we all know that Martell don't have his builder's license. Thank you so much, Mims. He's correct. He's correct. Thank you. I appreciate any support that y'all get the channel, whether it's through the freeway, which is giving me likes, or the not so freeway, which is super chats and stuff. Y'all appreciate you. Mwah. Thank you so much, Mims. Um, this really show how some of these couples share personality, both male. So I just felt like that was a lot. And like I said, I believe Mel's version of the story about how Schultz got started, and the purpose was for them to win. The purpose was to help them build a business, which is what they did. And like I said, I believe that Melody sent a lot of business their way and that they benefited from it. Like, period. Like, I believe that. Marceau, it is clear that Marceau still does not want Tisha in the business. He does not want her working in the business. He said that I want her to find her passion. I just don't necessarily want her passion to be sculpt. And listen, let me say this. I think it's hard for married couples to work together. It's hard. it is hard for married couples to work together. And you can tell that they're struggling because even Tisha was like, well, if there are any married couples that have done it successfully working together, please give us a call and let us know how y'all made it work. So you can tell that it's a problem. I personally, if it were me, and it was my husband, I would probably look into creating another branch of Sculpt that's all mine. Like, I don't know, Sculpt Junior. I don't know. I mean, I have to come up with something um, more, more appropriate or a better name, but something where Letitia can do her own projects, right? She can find her own projects, and she can go, because Letitia has her real estate license. She has, I don't know if she has a builder's license, but she has a lot of what she needs to be able to do her own thing. And I feel like let him do his thing, and you go find your own properties to flip or businesses to start. Like, I just feel like that's what she should do, because he's y'all gotta listen when people are talking. If your husband is telling you this isn't working for me, you gotta listen. Yeah, I was going to ask, does he not want her in the business because he doesn't want his wife to be a coworker? Well, let me say this, and I like Marceau. As narcissistic as he is, it's something about Marceau that I like. I ain't gotta be married to him, but there's something about him I like. My parents work together, and they be arguing about shit from the office. The walls are thin. They get on my nerves. Right? It's hard. It's hard. Here's the thing about it, y'all. Marceau don't want Tisha in the business, period. He doesn't want to have to talk to her about business. He doesn't want to have to go over any business with her. He doesn't want her input, permission, blessing, none of the above. He doesn't want to have to deal with Tisha when it comes to money, period. I mean, the business, period. That's it. That's it. He does not want to deal with her at all. And I just feel like you have to listen when people are talking. I feel like it's enough. If, according to Maurice, that's the biggest real estate market, one of the biggest real estate, like, for new businesses in the country. There's other stuff you can do. And I just feel like if I were Tisha, that's what I would do. I wouldn't be pushing so hard to force him to allow me in and Sculpt. I would probably start my own or branch off. But anyway, Tisha is the Mia of Love and Marriage Huntsville. She got her boss title by ooh, Tracy. But the difference between, I will say this, the difference between Tisha and Mia is that Tisha does have the credentials. She went to school. She has the certifications. She's qualified. Does Marceau have his top row of teeth? What? Yeah. Mims is always so shady. Not little baby, little baby shady too. Talking about some every now and then they make an appearance. Y'all are terrible. Wait a minute, did y'all hear wait a minute? I'm getting ahead of myself, but baby, that thing took me out when Mel said, I'm not about to argue with legs, hips, and thighs. Y'all. That thing took me out. I said, Mel won for the shadiest comment of the night. Mel won with that one, y'all. Ooh, she won with that one. Okay. Then they talked about this lawsuit, and basically Tisha said, that's this. Did y'all see? Now, this is where Martell was being shady, and he sort of kind of got legs, hip, and breast. That's what it was. Thank you. Legs, hips, and breast. Look, this where Martell was being shady, and it cracked me up. It was when they started talking about that lawsuit, and Tisha was like, yeah, well, that's why he went to Africa. Here go Martell. That's why he went to Africa by himself with none of y'all, not his family. He didn't want to spend time with his. I said. He said that so matter of fact. Oh, that's why he went to Africa? Because of the lawsuit by himself. And the teacher was like, well, at least he wasn't at that jam. And y'all know that was a dig, because during the pandemic, Marceau was lying to Mel talking about something. He was going to the gym. He was really going to see Ariane. child, but that thing cracked me up when he said that. I said, Tisha, girl, they be child. Tisha's first degree has nothing to do with real estate. Her second degree is when she got her master's in business. That tells me her first passion is not in real estate. But she does have her real estate license, though, is what I'm saying. And her degree is in business. She's running a business. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, I hear you, Tracy, but I'm going to give Tisha credit. I'm sorry. I'm going to give Tisha some credit that she went, when I'm saying compared to Mia. I'm saying compared to Mia. I'm gonna give Tisha some credit. I feel like Tisha went back to school. She has her real estate license to get the things that she needs to get. Not going to front. Martell's facial expressions and his little slick ass remarks had me checking. Listen, Keisha, Martell had me dying because Martell's faces. Listen, and if you listen, I'm about to get to that part right now. If you paid attention to the stuff that Martell said, he told it all. He told it all without telling it. He told it all without telling it. If you paid attention. So they really didn't get too deep into the lawsuit. I don't think legally there's a lot they can speak on right now. And I really haven't been following. Hold on, y'all. I really haven't been following the lawsuit. I can't seem to get comfortable tonight. Okay. I haven't really been following that lawsuit, but whatever it was, it had Marcel so stressed out he had to go to Africa by himself. Anyway, what's up, to Ellis's? Hey, love. Her first passion is events. Willie Brown said, I think everyone needs to get on with their lives. Well, he was slick spilling tea. Nobody said nothing. That's what I'm saying, Keisha. If you was paying attention to Martell, you got what you needed. But I don't know if they was listening. But if you paid attention to Martell, you got what you needed. So let's get into it. Now, here's where we start getting into the cheating rumors. Oh, damn. Mel doubled down on the fact that Marceau is cheating or has cheated on Letitia. And this is where she tried to throw Carlos under the bus. Because Carlos asked Mel what proof does she have. Because Tisha was like, listen, y'all keep telling me that my man is cheating on me, but y'all ain't brought me no proof, no receipts, no pictures, no nothing. And she said a picture of somebody back ain't enough. You saying it don't make it true. And I'm not going to leave my man based off of rumors without no receipts, which I can respect that. You should not leave your man based off of what somebody else told you is the truth. I can respect that. But baby, Mel told Carlos, well, you remember, because one of the women, I mean, when I talked to you, I was with her. Look, baby, Carlos was like, bitch, what? And I can't tell if his response was, I know you ain't telling people my business, or girl, don't bring me in this shit. Like, I couldn't figure out what his whole point was, but it was so funny. Right, baby, when Carlos asked her, when Carlos asked Kimmy, would you allow Maurice more shit? He didn't finish the sentence. She was like, no. No. I said, wait. Heck, Tisha knows Marceau is cheated. If he wasn't on the show, she'd let him cheat in peace. Bap, I don't know. I think she really be believing that he ain't cheated on her. I really do. I really believe that. Hell, I think she believed he went to Africa by himself. I believe that. I believe that. But baby, Mel threw Carlos under the bus. Mel said, let me tell you what you, and again, that further tells me that their relationship ain't what it used to be, because she was quick to be like, you on the phone. Now, what I was able to gather from this situation was Letitia said that Mel tried to pay somebody to bring her on the show to basically spill the tea about Marceau and this affair. This is somebody that, according to Melody, it's old. She said, it is old. This is way back early on in the beginning of early on in their marriage. This is old information. But she said she didn't know that he was married. It happened and she felt bad. And we were putting together a girls trip. And She was supposed to go on a girls trip, and she was supposed to pull Letitia aside and have a conversation and apologize and tell her, I didn't know, yada, yada, yada. And now, Letitia's version of the story is Melody offered her $5,000 to come on the show to do it. Melody's version of the story is she was coming on the show and she was going on a girls trip, and she asked about money, and I told her she had to talk to production because I wasn't about to pay her. This gonna make the Mellow Meters mad, but I believe she was gonna pay that woman to come on the show. And I'm gonna tell you why I believe she was gonna pay that woman to come on the show. Because at one point in time, if y'all go back to that season where Mel and Martell made up and they were standing as the united front, that season she got pregnant with Sugar Mama, right? Well, she was pregnant with Sugar Mama. They were a united front, and they really were on a mission to expose Marceau, because they really felt like Letitia had put a lot of their business out there. Remember, Melody thought that Letitia and Marceau was feeding information to the blogs. Melody felt like that information about the car. Remember when the picture of the car that Martell bought Ariane, and remember when Mel accused Letitia of putting that information out there? I believe Mel was gonna bring that woman on the show, and I believe Mel offered her a little bit of coins to do it. I absolutely believe it. Absolutely, I believe that. Do I believe the story is true? As far as that Marcel slept with this woman, do I believe that story is true? Let me say this. Yes, and I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna keep talking. Yes, and I'm gonna keep going and explain why I believe it. When Mel tried to explain how she found out about the affair, how the conversation went down between her and that woman, that she would even tell Mel about the affair and all of that. Did y'all see how Marceau kept over talking her and wouldn't let her talk? Did y'all see that? And that's when Melody was like, I'm not about to sit here and argue with legs, hips, and breasts. And she stopped talking. Y'all saw how Marceau kept over talking her and wouldn't let her talk, right? I said, see, that right there, that's an example. That's the way that he was trying to shut her up, and she fell for it. When I say fell for it, I shouldn't say fell for it, because I'm sure she knew what he was doing. But I wish that she had just let him say what he had to say, get it out of his system. And then I wish she had been like, Carlos, I will tell you the story, but I do not want to be interrupted. Because Carlos wanted that tea, and Carlos would have made Marceau shut the hell up. Because he wanted that tea. But I believe, listen. You have to remember that these people were friends in real life. These people were friends in real life. So do I believe that they know each other's secrets and they know where the bodies are buried? I absolutely do. I absolutely do. I believe Mel was going to bring the side chick on too, and after the episode, I believe Kiki was being used to get back at T. Absolutely, I believe that, Audrey. Absolutely. Spoiler alert, a lot of married men cheat. Facts. Facts on facts on facts. Yeah, I even wrote that in my notes. Marceau overtalked Mel. Because I said, oh, he's just going to keep talking. Y'all, I got to drink up all my sodas because I'm going back to my water. Got to get all these sodas out the house. Well, I ain't going to say all these sodas. I got 2 sodas in the house. 2 more sodas in the house. Now, here's where it got real feisty. And here's where I needed y'all to be paying attention. Here's where I needed y'all to be paying attention. I don't know if y'all was paying attention, but they started talking about, they said that there was an off-camera conversation about what was off limits. Now, we're not talking about before the show started. We're talking about before this season started. Kimmy, Maurice, Martell, Marceau, Letitia had this conversation about what they weren't going to discuss on camera. Whatever. Because I think when people get mad, they're going to say what they got to say anyway. The conversation comes up about these after-hours sex parties down to the credit one. Now, Kimmy, you know what? I told a lie. I said I didn't have nothing for Kimmy, but I do have something for Kimmy. So everybody getting a piece tonight. Kimmy, I'm confused about something. You said that your office used to be on top of Credit One and that the guys used to be hanging out there and making too much noise. Carlos said, were y'all dating at the time? And you said no. So, but y'all knew each other, right? Y'all were friends, right? Listen, we done heard 3-4 different stories about how Kimmy and Maurice done met. Now, I love you, Kimmy, and I like Maurice. I love Maurice. But am I the only one that feel like we keep getting different stories about how Kimmy and Maurice met? Am I the only one that feel like we done got 4-5 different stories? Number one, Kimmy don't want us to know that her husband stay out till 4 in the morning. But the bigger question is, why is your husband staying out till 4 in the morning? Like, I'm not understanding. Why is your husband staying out till 4 in the morning, ma'am? She's talking about some people are gonna get the wrong impression. It ain't too many impressions you can get from a married man staying out till 4 in the morning. Now, you gotta pay attention, especially when it comes to these Scott brothers. You have to pay attention because their words are very tricky. They are very tricky in what they say and how they say it. Maurice said, you got to listen to what he said. Because when they asked about the sex parties, first of all, Martell Face gave it away. They was getting it in. They was either having scrippers, all kinds of stuff, okay? But Maurice said, and he was very clear, because remember, Maurice is a lawyer, and he's also one of them Scott brothers, and him and Marceau think they're smarter than everybody else, and they can play with words. Maurice said, I did not have any sex parties at Credit One. He was very specific to say Credit One. He never said we didn't have no sex parties. He didn't say that. He didn't say, I don't know what y'all talking about. We didn't have no sex parties. He said, we never had any sex parties at Credit One. That don't mean that it wasn't having no sex parties. That doesn't mean that they weren't doing things at other places. That don't, listen. Y'all know Marceau think he's the smartest person in the room. Maurice does too. And I knew when Maurice said what he said, the way he said it, I knew, oh, okay. So they weren't having it at that property. Oh, but they was having parties. They was getting it in. And Maurice is even so slick that it could have been at that property, but not at Credit One. Maybe he was renting out a space next door. Maybe he had more than one business, and he was like, oh, we weren't at Credit One. We were at my real estate office. You see what I'm saying? Maurice is slick like that. They were not just listening to music, but hell no. Now listen, they might have been playing some spades and listening to music, but let me tell y'all what I know. I have always hung with the guys. I was a tomboy. I'm into sports. I play cards. I play poker. I do all of that. I drink, all that stuff. And I have male friends that have card parties and stuff all the time. And let me tell you something. Things be happening at the card parties. Now, I'm not saying it be no scrippers. I'm not saying it be bondage and whips and chains. But let me tell you something. Do you know how many side chicks come to the card party? Do you know how many side chicks plus one? Oh, I bought my homegirl, and the homegirl started flirting with the other dude. Do you know how many situationships be going down? Even if we are just smoking cigars, playing spades, and having a drink. Do you know how many girlfriends I met and put me in an uncomfortable position because I know your girlfriend and now I'm meeting your side chick and you done got me in the middle of this bullshit? Do y'all understand what I'm telling y'all? So, well, we already talked about that, Kimberly. We talked about Mel and her. We didn't get to Kiki yet, but we already talked about the situation with Letitia. We did talk about that. I've heard those mansion parties where it turns speakeasies and you enter in a room. Oh, okay. Half naked and whatever. Ooh, not the fruit salad. Hold on. I missed a couple of comments. Let me scroll up. Maurice came to Kimmy's house to cut Jalen hair. This is when Maurice first moved back to Huntsville. In the beginning, Kimmy and Maurice were sleeping together. Then later, Kimmy told him she wanted more. Okay. All this drama shouldn't think to be having a prayer. Not a prayer meeting. And did Maurice admit to having an addiction to sex? That's not crazy for him. Did he admit to having? I missed that, y'all. Listening to Beyonce. Right. Why Carlos, of all people, Carlos picked Beyonce? No, they wasn't listening to Beyonce, child. First of all, who has a sex party with them? Child, please. People do. And that's, no, Xavier, trust me. People, listen. I've seen it. I've heard about it. Well, I'm not saying I've seen it. I'm saying I've heard about it. I mean, I've not seen it. So in the beginning, Maurice and Kimmy were not exclusive. Kept trying to overlook that part. Well, again, I feel like we're playing games with words. So when Carlos said, "Was he your man?" and you were like, "No," technically, okay, fine, we were just having sex, but you understood you knew what Carlos was trying to get at. So maybe he wants your man, but y'all were sleeping together. Y'all were together. Maybe you weren't exclusive. So I mean, I think all of them are playing games with words. But yeah, the parallel social media show is more interesting, child. Okay, but that's how I feel about that. And again, if you paid attention to what Martell wasn't saying, Martell was basically letting it be known that they absolutely had sex parties and they absolutely used to have all kinds of things going on, but up, down, in, out, and around, and without their wives and significant others. Martell didn't say it, but Martell face said it all. If you was paying attention, Martell face said it all. Then they started getting into who knows what. And again, what Martell said was, we all know information about each other, but I'm not going to say anything. He said, there's plenty that I still know, but I would never say it. Listen, we can say a lot of things about Martell. And I'm not saying it just because Martell said it is that I have to believe it, because we know Martell is a liar. But what I will say is, I absolutely believe that Martell knows what some bodies are buried. Remember, these guys knowing each other since college. They've known each other since college. They were friends, go on vacation, hang out at each other's house, was around when they was giving birth to their children, came to the baby showers and the bridal showers, and they were friends. I ain't saying they was best friends, but they was friends. Do you think that for a second? I don't think that Martell know what's up. Martell basically so much as said, he said it. He just said, I ain't, he just, and Letitia, girl, you playing with fire. You are playing with fire. Because what you did tonight You dared Melody. You dared her. Now, I think Melody is in a space where she don't give a damn no more. But you dared Melody because what you said was they put information out about us, and if they had any proof, they would have dropped it. If Melody and Martell had any proof, they would have dropped it. That's what you said. That's what you said. Let me tell you something, because this is the petty bitch that I can be sometimes. The way Letitia dared Melody to come for her, baby, I would have emptied out I would have emptied out every receipt I had. I would have emptied out every receipt, every picture, text message, screenshot, voicemail. I would have interviewed the chicks on my social media. Listen, she did. She dared Martell too. Letitia, that's a game you don't want to play. I just believe, listen, I absolutely believe that Marceau has been unfaithful to Letitia. Do I think he's currently being unfaithful to her? Probably not. Do I think that he has been unfaithful to her in their marriage? I do. And I like Marceau, but I believe that he has been unfaithful. And I believe that Melody and Martell know. And I believe they know who. Mel, honestly, I think just wants them to stop taking her on every episode. Talking on her on every episode when they don't. She does her passive aggressive stuff. She should have dared them. He has been unfaithful. She already stated that what she would do. Right. CC said I'm dropping the zip file. You know what I'm saying? But you sitting there double dog daring her to do it. Girl, you don't want to play that. Okay. They say they never owned an apartment. Whatever. I think that's playing games too. Because again, I pay attention to words, y'all. Marceau said, I have never owned an apartment with Martell. People don't. Owning apartments is a language that people use in areas that has a lot of condos. I never really heard the language of owning an apartment in areas that don't have a lot of condos. Like when you think of New York, people in New York say you buy apartments in New York because an apartment probably isn't the accurate word. It's probably a condo, right? People in Alabama don't say buy apartments. Now, have Marceau and Martell ever rented an apartment together? Maybe. Has there ever been a place that they put in somebody else's name that they had access to? Maybe. That might go back to the sex parties and where the sex parties were happening. If they weren't happening at Credit One. Now listen, I ain't saying it. I'm just saying this is how my brain works. That's how my brain works, right? You're using the word own, and Marceau was very clear to say, me and Martell have never owned anything. And once again, pay attention to Martell. Pay attention to Martell, y'all. Audrey says she live in Alabama. You can buy one, but it's not cheap. Yeah. Most people, like, again, the average person doesn't use the word buy a whole apartment. Most people talk about they rent, they lease. You don't, again, whenever I've heard the language of buying apartments, I'm thinking condos and major cities and condos. Now, Audrey said you can buy them, but they're expensive. So again, we're not talking about right now where these people got millions of dollars. We're talking about when they were younger, when they were, struggling, when they were just getting started. Well, nobody buying no apartment. But again, they playing games with words. That's my opinion. That's my opinion that they was playing games with words. Now, the last couple of minutes of the episode, they brought Kiki out. Listen, Kiki basically admitted that she came on the show to give Letitia a hard time. Mel admitted um that she brought Kimmy on. I mean, not Kimmy Lloyd. That she brought Kiki on the show to basically co-sign the fact that um Letitia and Marceau have had problems in their marriage. And Carlos even said, well, why did you feel like you needed to say something? Why did you feel like you needed to confirm it? And, now do I believe that Melody knew Kiki already? Yeah. But girl, you brought her on there to be messy. It is what it is. And both of them as much as admitted it. They tried to get Kiki to come right out and say whether she knew whether Marceau had ever cheated on Letitia. And I feel like she backed up off of saying definitively that Marceau did cheat, but that she was saying that Letitia had suspicions in the past. And that's where the episode sort of ended. Now, Letitia had this whole thing where she went and got puppets because she kept saying that Kiki was Melody's puppet, and she was puppet, and she was his puppet, and she was his puppet. And she went off stage and literally brought on these puppets that clearly she had set up, that she clearly bought as props. Because one of the puppets had Melody's hair from season 1. Girl, it was a mess. It wasn't, I thought it was pathetic. I didn't find it amusing. I thought it was very pathetic. I thought it didn't land for me. I mean, how did y'all feel about the puppets? It really didn't land for me. Right? How you buying apartments with Martell driving getaway cars and Marcel working at the movie theater? That was Maurice's weak attempt mentioning Stags are trying to get back at Marcel for the leaked picture. I thought at first I said the same thing. I was like, okay, you playing like you throwing your brother under the bus, but then I felt like once they said, oh no, that was the comeback group, I felt like that was his way of saying, yeah, you've owned something, but it's not what people think. At first, I thought he was throwing his brother under the bus, and I was like, damn, Maurice. But then when they found out they was talking about the comeback group, I said, child, I had wrote it in my notes. You see, I didn't even write nothing down about that. Yeah, that the puppets that wasn't even cute. Because you saw they even had on the pajamas like that night at the party. Girl, Tisha kept iterating that she wasn't going to leave her husband, that she believes her husband, and that she didn't believe her husband cheated. She don't have no proof of it. Yada, 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 child. Tisha stood for herself and backed Kiki and Mel into a corner. She absolutely, now that she did because both of them ended up having to admit that Kiki came on the show to be messy. But the puppets just weren't the answer. She didn't need the puppets. She really didn't. She didn't need the puppets. I wasn't here for that. I didn't like the puppets. I didn't like the puppets. But that's where they left off. They left off with Kiki and Miss Wanda was on stage, child, and they left off with Kiki basically addressing. We find out that Tisha did find a picture in the phone of a woman, and from the previews it looked like the woman might have been naked in Marceau's phone. Now look, I'll be interested to see what the explanation is, but let me be honest and tell y'all that would not be a deal breaker for me, child. If I go through my husband's phone, if I go through my husband's phone and I find a picture of his secretary naked, we gonna have a conversation. But if it's just some random chick, he might have been looking at porn, took a screenshot, or so. I mean, to me, today's having a naked woman in your phone to me is the 1980s version of buying Playboy magazine. Like, I would need to, again, who is this woman? Like, is this somebody you work with? Is this somebody you know? That's a conversation. But if it's just some old random naked woman that you got in your phone because you liked her, that her tits were big or whatever, that I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. Now that's me. I know I'm not everybody, and I know that for some people that's a problem. But again, I need to know who it is. Now, like I said, if it's somebody that you talking to, if it's somebody that you know in real life, we got Houston, we got a problem, right? Um, they need to move on. Tisha ain't going nowhere. You right. Tisha ain't going nowhere. Part one wasn't good to me. No recap on the season at all. Only social media rumors. Right. I feel like we started there when they were talking about the businesses. And then for the rest of the episode, you're right. Now, I do think it was a good episode, but it definitely wasn't a recap of anything that happened this season. We got a little bit of Kiki at the end, and then at the beginning, we got the business recap. And it just seemed like we went left and we never got back to what people really happened in the season. I agree with you on that. But I guess that's why we got 3 parts, child, because we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. I did feel bad for Stormy. Stormy looked beautiful, by the way. I love that short hair, her makeup. I thought everybody looked. I thought the makeup looked nice on all the women. But from the preview, I feel bad for Stormy because the fans have been very mean to her, with her accent and all of that. The fans have been very mad to her. Child, don't nobody believe that Marcel was faithful. Even listen. I think in her heart of hearts, Tisha know that something ain't clean in the buttermilk. In her heart of hearts. But Tisha ain't gonna never give us the satisfaction. I promise you she's not. She's never going to give us the satisfaction. Tisha, unless somebody posts an actual sex tape and it is clear that it's Marcel, Tisha ain't going nowhere. Now, if the show were to get canceled, let's say what's this, 2023. Let's say the show got canceled in 2023, right? I give it about 2 years. They be announcing their separation. But she's not going to give us, the fans, the satisfaction. She ain't going to do it. She ain't going to do it. Stormy uses the MD word too much. I don't know what MD is. What's the MD word, y'all? What's MD mean? What MD mean, Kimberly? Tell me what that means. They all have the same accent, the hell. Stormy's accent is thicker, but I do think, the MF word. Well, I use it a lot too. I don't think that makes people ghetto, but I do think that people equate a country accent to being dumb. I do think people feel like, oh, she's country, she's dumb because she got that thick accent. But Stormy, one of the richest ones on that show. Her husband run a multi-million-dollar company that she built herself from the ground up. So I think people forget that. Like, don't let the accent fool you. Don't let the accent fool you. And when I say you know what I mean, y'all, you know what I mean in general. Don't let that accent fool y'all. You know, that accent don't equate dumb. I think Stormy's attitude was very similar to Destiny's. I think they have that attitude. I could say that Pacino, I could say that maybe not polished. I can agree with you on that. Maybe she's not very polished. Yeah, maybe she's not very polished. Okay, Miss Sharon. She said it did not keep her attention. I know that's right. She's richer than all of them pre-show. Yeah, I just didn't have the numbers in front of me, Melly. I thought she was the richest, but I didn't have the numbers in front because I know Mel has made a lot of money on the show, and I don't know what the net worth is of the Scotts. I've never looked up their net worth or anything, but I know she's definitely one of the richest ones on the show. Absolutely, she is. And she had the money before the show. So yeah. Wanda different, child. Wanda, no, that's no. I'm not gonna put Wanda and Stormy in the same category, child. She is the richest. Okay, I knew she was one of them, but she is the richest. Got it. Got it. Yeah, and again, she got it from the mud. Like she did it herself. Nobody gave her that, So Yeah, she let Mel. Yeah, that's how we got introduced to her. That's why some people want to be called Southern and not country. Some of them get highly offended if you call them country. Yeah, because country it sort of gives off the idea of dumb, and country don't mean dumb. I get emails from Stormy every day. She is a boss. She is. And I feel bad for her because I could see just from that clip, and she was sitting there crying. Like I could see that really that hurts. People start questioning your intelligence just because you have a thick accent. That's hurtful. That is hurtful. Yeah, Tisha went to a speech. That's why she enunciates her words the way she does. Because she went to a speech therapist to try to get rid of her accent. Because she used to sound like Miss Wanda. And she has gone through a lot of trouble to sound more appropriate. Really be who would you kick off or keep, and would you bring a side chick on the show? All right, so who would I kick off? Destiny, Tiffany, the Whitlows definitely. I would keep Destiny if she would be willing to open up a little bit more. I think she tried to do it this season when she showed, talked about having a boyfriend and showed him or whatever. But I think Destiny may have burned too many bridges at this point. But and would I bring on a side chick? If I were being messy, if I were going to be messy, I would I would try to bring on one of Marcel's side chicks. If I was being messy. I don't care about Ariane. I don't care about bringing Ariane. Nobody cares. They're not married anymore. We got the story. We know what happened. Child, we're over it. But if I were being messy, I would be like, who that chick again? Who? How much money she want? I sure would. But that's if I was really just being messy. But I wouldn't like who I am. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think she burnt bridges once. I think she's already burnt those bridges. Yeah, I think she already burnt those bridges, child. But yeah, definitely Tiffany and Lou. Like I don't have no use for either one of them. How did Tisha sound before her speech therapy? What's her speech condition impediment? I don't know what she sounded like, but I just know in season that was either season 1 or season 2 when she talked about going to speech therapy. She said that she sounded a lot like her mom. So I don't think she had like the broken like I don't think she did things like her mom. Like Miss Wanda will use the wrong word for something. Like instead of saying incredible, she'll say impossible, and she'll be meaning incredible. I'm just using that as an example, and you'll be like, "What? Incredible, impossible?" I don't think she did stuff like that, but I think that thick accent like Miss Wanda has, and the way Miss Wanda cuts her words off, I think Tisha probably did that, and I think that's why she enunciates her words the way she does now, because I think she used to talk like that when she would clip her words. Yeah. But again, she said that's how she used to sound. When we met her, she was already in speech therapy. So I guess Sadark is not coming back. Sadark said y'all done put him out there and he didn't got his legal issues exposed, child. Yeah, I don't have no interest in seeing Sheree. I could care less about that. No. Would I like to see Sheree and Martell on the show? No, I could care less. Because number one, I don't think it's a real relationship. So I'm not interested in fake relationships. Yeah, like Miss Wanda says, men's. You know what I'm saying? All men's is dogs. Like the way I think Tisha had some of those bad habits because the reality is you can't help but pick that kind of stuff up. If you grow up in a household and that's how everybody around you talks, you can't help but pick certain things up. And I think that Tisha went to school her whole life around people who talk like that. It probably wasn't until she got to college. And even then, she went to college in Alabama. So, like, for example, for me, I never heard a DC accent in anything I said until I went to college. And people was like, oh, yeah, I hear you from DC. And I was like, what you mean I'm from DC? How can you tell? And then I became very conscious of the way I say words. I still don't hear it because I'm back home now, and I don't even my DC accent isn't even as thick as some people's, but I can hear it. I could hear it, but it took me going away from DC to be able to hear a DC accent. So when you're in it and you grow up in it and you go to school and you're around people who talk like that all the time, it's hard until you hear different people talk differently. I'm a retired SLP, speech language is that pathologist? Am I saying it right? It takes years to get rid of a dot. Yeah, it takes So I don't think her, she was clearly in speech therapy before, probably from college. She probably started working on changing her language when she was in college, because that was probably the first time that she was around people for an extended period of time that didn't sound like her. Now, of course, when you go on vacation or you travel, yeah, but being away and every day, all day, that's different, you know. It isn't as thick. I didn't know you were from DC, really. Yeah, it's not as thick. Now, when I was younger, it was, but it's not. It's definitely not as thick. Mm-mm. Nope. Yep. Born and raised in DC, two L's. Born and raised, baby. Yep. Thank you, Bossy. And I'm about to get off of here now. Listen, you guys, thank y'all for being here, hanging out. Scotty is already live. Scotty by Nature. If you're not already subscribed to Scotty, y'all going over there and he's doing his review. I think he said he was going live. So if he's not live yet, he's gonna go live in a few minutes. Whatever you guys are doing to bring in the new year, please do it and be safe and have a great time. I wish you guys a happy new year. Thank y'all for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I look forward to seeing y'all and talking to y'all in the new year. If you are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. It's free 99. And if you haven't, please hit the like button. I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to seeing y'all in 2023. Mwah!